So that's kind of where we are, and we'll know more tomorrow because the architect will be in town tomorrow, and he was going to work on some preliminary review of the sketches from 2007 based on some comments that the board was going to give them. They've been a little preoccupied. They had an emergency meeting tonight on the school budget because they lost all their school aid, and they were obligated to provide their budget document to the executive superintendent of schools by close of business today, and they didn't find out their aid figures when they envisioned a 15% cut. Instead, they got a 100% cut, and they had to come up with a document between Thursday evening and this evening close of business and introduce a budget this evening at 7 o'clock. So they've been a little busy with that, and so I think this will pick up again, and they've agreed to come for a tour within 2 weeks after they're through their budget cycle to come physically walk through the space after having these discussions on their side to see if it's something they want to take to the next step. So it's a good restart of a process that was stalled.
Also, Mayor, I think it's a beginning of really doing what we're supposed to do, that we're start sharing services. I mean, we got to talk about sharing service one at a time. I think we got to start within our own house. In other words, the Board of Ed, of course, got problems. We got money problems. What's going on? And I think this could be the beginning. And I think we got many ways. I got a lot of ideas. I know Lisa Ellis says she had ideas to start sharing services. That's where it's at. We got to start cutting overhead or whatever you want to call it. You know, that's the bottom line as far as. I want to thank Ray for really help put this together. But I think it'll be a beautiful thing if we get the Board of Ed and the borough in the same building. Because, like we say, the taxpayers, 60% or some goes to the Board of Ed, and 30-some% goes to so.
It's one pair of pants, two pockets.
That's right. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I just want to thank Ray for really putting this thing together.
Okay. Anything else? That's it?
No. I don't know, but I got a few calls from Pomeroy Road, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not. I don't understand why this, and again, I'll give you some examples. You're talking about topsoil, right? A few years ago, we did this turf field at the high school. Beautiful topsoil. Contractor hauled it away, made a lot of money. Now we need topsoil. Belgian blocks, that's my business. They're granite. They'll last forever. To my understanding, I don't know if it's true or not, but there's Belgian blocks on Pomeroy Road right now. The contractor's throwing them in his truck and whatever he's doing with them, and they're going to put new Belgian blocks.
No, we don't have Belgian block on Pomeroy Road.
Yes, you do.
No, on the lower half where they're working.
It's limited, yeah.
It's very limited.
The point that I'm getting at, even if a dozen of them, they're like $3. In other words, why would the contractor? I mean, why don't we put this in whatever? We should be stacking them, and the public works guys should be taking those Belgian blocks and bringing them down the yard. I mean, you got like down a pool. Madison Rosedale, they can use Belgian blocks line. I mean, there are Belgian blocks. Why do the contractor got? That's my point. I don't know if it's.
It's just good recycling too.
I mean, Belgian blocks. Like I said, they last forever, and I just don't understand how these things happen. It should be. There are Belgian blocks. This guy's making a score.
You should go to Bob Vogel because you're his liaison. And
I am going to go to Bob Vogel. I'm just saying.
Get an
He wants
answer
to
for
let
us.
you know.
It's a good point. I mean, I got 2 phone calls on that. How come there are Belgian blocks? These guys are taking away, selling for $1 a piece, whatever. And that whole street got a lot of Belgian blocks. I drove there many times. You got a lot of Belgian blocks. They're all buried within the blacktop because they just kept putting on top. But you got a ton of Belgian blocks on Pomeroy Road, and they never rot out. That's it, man.
That's it. Okay. Anyone else? May I have the voucher totals, please?
Public safety, $4,665.01. Health and public assistance, $4,092.30. Public works and engineering, $184,582.04. Community affairs, $1,387 even. Finance and borough clerk, $356,933.24, and utilities, $1,282,873.18. Total is $1,844,532.77.
Mayor, I move the vouchers for approval.
Second.
Is there any council discussion?
Mayor, just if Ray, you could help me. In other words, how much money do we have in surplus? That's what I'd like to know. I mean,
In unrestricted funds, we have approximately $4 million.
That's the bottom line, I mean, that's all, that's.
Well, that doesn't include like open space, which is a restricted pot, can only be used for open space. We still have some money in the special duty trust, which can be used to pay police officers who are working special duty assignments for directing traffic. We have water capital funds that can only be spent on water capital projects. We have the electric utilities capital improvement fund that can only be spent on projects related to the electric utility, so the restricted funds. The unrestricted funds would be basically our balance in the general capital improvement project fund, rather, that could be used to buy a fire truck, to artificial turf fields, to do sewer lining, fix a road, mill and overlay, buy a piece of equipment, buy a leaf machine. That's the unrestricted fund, and the 12/31 balance was under $4 million.
Any question as to the vouchers?
Thank you.
What vouchers?
Will you please call the roll?
Ms. Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Conley?
Yes.
Mrs. Sukamoto?
Yes.
Dr. Esposito?
Yes.
Mr. Cerciolo?
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Lenz?
Yes.
One item of new business that I'd like to announce on Thursday evening, April 1st at 6:30, we will have a council work session to further cut the budget. We have been reduced in state aid $227,383. This adds to the amount of the allowable tax levy, where we were short almost $1.2 million. So we're looking at about $1.4 million in cuts that we have to make. It's not going to be pleasant. It's a reality. We are not allowed to raise taxes above the 4% cap, and we're really looking toward the future as legislation moves through to make the cap a hard cap, what they call a hard cap of 2.5%. So it's going to be painful, but we're among 566 municipalities that are under the same duress. So April 1st at 6:30, if you'd care to come and share any of your ideas as well, for either revenue to come in to offset, or where you can see that further savings can be made.
Bring your checkbooks.
Bring your checkbooks, bake sale. The Mortgage Apple cake lady will be here. Seriously, it's a very dire situation. Is there any other new business? Seeing none?
I call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you. No, right. There being no further business?
Did I do that?